Warning! What you are about to hear contains explicit language, adult themes, and potentially disturbing content. The views and opinions expressed are those of the hosts and do not reflect the opinions of anyone else, anywhere, ever, in the history of the world. This podcast is intended for an immature audience and should not be listened to by anyone, anywhere, ever, in the history of the world. You know, fuck it. You've been warned.
Ladies and gentlemen, dorks and dweebs, nerds of all ages, GeekPod Network Productions is proud to bring to you the most electrifying middle-aged guys in Syracuse, the Doctor, Hugh Allen, the Pod Whore, Paul Showens. Alone, they are single geek beacons in a dark cop drama world. But when the mics go hot, they are GeekPod. God bless me! Hello and welcome to this week's edition of GeekPod. I'm your host, Paul.
I'm Corbs. And I'm Kevin.
Yeah, guys. Tonight, Hugh had to take the week off, so we, I'll just say a little bit reluctantly, we pulled my buddy Kevin in. He's not quite sure yet, but we gave him a quick rundown. What, about 35-second rundown there?
That's about.
And so we're gonna jump.
If you call it that, I mean,
mumbling and stumbling through it, and basically saying, "Follow my lead." All right,
yeah, it's kind of like work.
Yes, let's catch a buzz. Kevin, what are you drinking?
Oh, so mine is called Costumes and Karaoke. Let me just see if I can give you a little picture of the label. It's a Dogfish Head, limited release. Yeah, but it's not like any Dogfish Head you've ever had. I can pretty well guarantee that. I'm going to read you the description off of Beer Advocate, and I'm not going to read the whole thing. Just a little bit. Let's see. What do they say? Okay, so it's a cream ale brewed with oat cream base, and then they blend in a bunch of spices, including vanilla beans, ginger, turmeric, star anise, cardamom, and cinnamon. I can honestly tell you that if I've ever had a beer with any of those spices in them, it's only been maybe one, and probably the majority of those, not at all.
Really? Oh,
I have tried this already. I'll show you what it looks like poured into a glass.
oh,
a nice
see,
color.
He's fancy
I know it's
too,
kind of dark in
Corbs.
here.
Look at that.
Well, it's an insulated glass. It's a nice one that was given to me. But it pours well. I mean, you can smell the turmeric and some of the vanilla. But welcome back cream ales, because I got to tell you, if they ever tasted like this when I was a kid, I mean, when I was younger, I would have drank a heck of a lot more. I don't know if I could have drank more.
Now, this is like, when you say cream ale, the first thing I immediately think of is Genesee cream ale. So, and whatever you could squeegee off of the brewery floor, basically. But
so the whole idea, and here's the problem, is we grew up around Jenny Cream Ale. What we don't realize is that there's a lot of places that actually thought Jenny Cream Ale was pretty good beer.
Really?
When I lived in Atlanta, after I got out of the service, I lived in Atlanta for a while, and there was a couple of really cool places to go where you could get some different beers. And there's this one place called Five Corners. So these 5 roads came into one place, and they had a bunch of stuff there. And one of the things they had there was a neat little bar. And I go in there one night and I look at the taps on the back of the bar, and there is Jenny Cream Ale. Here I am, a kid, I'm in my 20s. I, haven't really been many places. I went from Mexico to New York to Army, and then from there I went to Atlanta, and I walk into this place, and here's Jenny Cream Ale on the back bar. So of course I had to have one. Still tasted like shit. If I'm not sure if I can say that on the podcast.
Yes, you
can edit
can.
that out later, I'm sure. All right. But I had to have one because it's a little taste of home. But what I've learned here recently with some beers that I've gotten into in Vermont and some other places is that cream ales are making a comeback, and it's all about the base. It's all about how they start, and they're really not bad. You got to give them a try. I'm not going to say go back and try Jenny Cream Ale again, but if you see a cream ale out there, try it because you might like it. There's some pretty good ones, and I like this one.
Well,
Very
originally,
different. It's
when I pulled Kevin into this, he suggested that beer, and because as you can see, Corbs, he's definitely a beer guy like Hugh.
Yeah.
He knows all the shit. And so I was like, you know what? I want you to lead Beer Bastards. Like, you sound smart when you talk about beer, and I'm just like beer good. So, so he suggested that costumes and see, I've been saying karaoke. It's not.
Well, I don't even know how to pronounce that word. I've never known how to pronounce that word. So you pronounce it any way you want.
Okay. Well, the singing thing is what I was going with. And so I spent, and Kevin can back this up because he was getting angry text messages every time. I spent 2 days trying to hunt that fucking beer down. and I was going to do a supply drop at your place too.
Right.
And I can't find it anywhere. According to the website, it's at all sorts of Wegmans around here and branching out bottle shop. No, it's not. It really isn't.
I think we got it about a month ago.
And is that where you normally do it? Is the Cicero Wegmans?
So we got a couple of places we go for beer. That's one. We tend to shop there. Kathy's office, my wife's office, is close to there. And what she's done in the past, when it used to be there, she's not down there anymore. They actually closed her physical office permanently. So she'd go there for lunch or whatever, do grocery shopping, and then she'd walk through the beer section, which is pretty substantial. I mean, they've done a pretty good job filling it up with beers from all over the place. And she'd buy beer based on the label. She'd look at it and she'd be like, "Well, it sounds fun. I'll just get that and bring it home." So I got a chance to taste and try some really, really neat, interesting things. I've kept a lot of them on my Beer Advocate profile just so I could keep track of what I've had and what I haven't. I haven't done a real good job with that though, so that's not as full as it could be. Excuse me. But I've experienced some really, really, really good beers and some really, really, really bad ones that way. But this is one of those. She found it there, brought it home, and I didn't realize, I guess I should have, that it was a limited release just by the flavorings in it. But yeah, I was hoping it was still around.
Yeah. And I do believe it because I did stop into Branching Out, which is a great bottle shop out there. It's out in Township 5, 2 doors down from the Warrior Factory. So, of course, though, our classes are Monday nights and they're closed on Monday, so I can't even ditch the kid and go in and check stuff out. But she was telling me the owner was in there, and I didn't catch her name. I feel bad about that. I did catch the dog's name. The dog's name is Barley. He's just in there chilling, hanging out. Like he's like, I mean, basically he's the store manager. And she did say that she thought she could order it for me, but she knew we were on a time crunch, so I couldn't. I mean, I wouldn't have had it by tonight anyway. So what I ended up doing was reaching into the Geek Pod beer fridge and pulled out something by, and if I mispronounce this, help me out, Kevin. Abita Brewing.
I've always called it a beta. I don't know. Again, I don't know.
Abita.
I don't even think it.
That might be the title
on here.
Abita beer. I went with 2 goes. Yep, here we go again, trying to find it in the. Wow, that's not even appearing.
Oh, there you go, right down in front of your shirt. That works.
In front of my shirt, but also right in front of the microphone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not real good with the video yet, as it shows. Yep. The pictures will be up anyway.
Put it right in front of your face.
Right. I mean, that might work. That does work.
There you go.
and I'm sure the audience prefers it. So anyway, this says it is a key lime sea salt sour. I was mispronouncing it because they had the little pronunciation on there. It's Tugoza, Z-A on the end, Tugoza. And it's right up because I don't know Beer Advocate, but I'm apparently going to learn that one real quick. Is in New Orleans, to-go cups mean the fun and the beer doesn't have to stay inside the bar. Tugoza is Abita's refreshing take on a traditional goes beer, a slightly salty and sour beer style brewed with malted wheat and barley and German pearl hops. Fresh key limes are added during aging to create this sour ale with hints of lime, coriander, and sea salt. I'm thinking I'm probably not going to like this when I take a sip, but let's find out.
I've never been a fan of the sours. I just can't get used to them.
It's not bad.
Oh,
it's not one of those that when we're chilling on the back patio here, I'm going to drink 17 of them. But
yeah,
it's a one-off beer. I'm not even going to pretend to try and do all the notes and stuff like you did because I don't understand how that works. Like I said, I drink beer to get shit-faced. So, Corbs.
Yeah, I don't understand all that stuff either. I know what I like.
And you know more than I do about it. That's for damn sure.
Wow.
If you're not saying much, yeah. Corbs, what you drinking down there?
Corbs isn't drinking tonight.
I figured you were going to show us a water bottle.
No, I don't have anything.
I did notice while Kevin was discussing the dogfish head, you kind of went on a stroll.
I did. I did. Well, because the funny thing about it is, just before we started discussing, you guys started discussing the beers, my sister called, and I wasn't going to answer it because I didn't want to interrupt the podcast. So I hit decline, and I went and got my son and had my son call my sister back. And of course, she didn't pick up the phone.
Right.
So
now she's pissed off at you. So,
well, because my mom went with my sister tonight. My sister was just here. My sister and Kelly were just here. We had we had people over we had Kelly and my sister over. We had spaghetti and meatballs. We had left over from Christmas, so we all had them over for dinner, and then we played a couple of games, and then everybody just kind of took off. That's why I was running a little behind. I was kind of waiting on them to get out of here. So
sounds like it was that kind of a day.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just kind of a very relaxed. I keep thinking it's Saturday. It's not. It's Friday.
Mm-hmm.
It's confusing. I don't know.
Yes. I mean, it's the same here because I've been off of work all week. So
yeah, me too.
Yes, I figured. But I've had no idea what the hell's been going on like day by day. I knew Monday was Monday because Warrior, and then I lost the week after that.
Yeah.
So, but before we jump into the holiday stuff, because I know we're going there, because I wrote the show notes. What's got you guys geeked? And I don't think I ever explained that one to Kevin either.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, he doesn't know what that is.
I don't even know what that means.
No. All right, so quick rundown on that. What that means is what's got you excited this week? Like what's something cool that happened? Something you're excited about? Mine's going to be just a reference back to last episode, which will confuse the shit out of you even more. So we'll let Corb start it off so it makes more sense.
There you go.
For me, it was just hanging out with my family on Christmas. We had a great time. We had my brother and sister-in-law and nephew here with their father-in-law, and then Kelly, my girlfriend, and her son, and my sister, and then me, my son, and my mom. We hung out. Like I said, we had everybody over, had shrimp and meatballs for like an appetizer, cookies, or not cookies, crackers, cheese, pepperoni, and then for dinner we just did a meat tray. We had sandwiches, and we played we played a game called Disturbed Friends.
Oh my god, I have that. I got it for Christmas last year, and I haven't opened it yet.
You haven't opened it? Oh my god! Next time you get some of your friends together, whatever. If when everything gets back to normal in 2025.
No, my question was, and my thought is, I thought maybe again, whenever we could get everybody around the table to record in person again, would that be something we could do as a show, or no?
Oh, you could do it as a show, but I don't know how much you'd get recorded because we'd be freaking pissing ourselves.
Okay.
Because that literally almost happened on Christmas. So I mean the cards they're pretty raunchy. So
Awesome. So what is it?
Those games are a
it's
riot.
so it's basically all it is it's a game. You get a card and it's got like a statement on it.
Okay.
And then it's got 3 answers like A, B, and C. And then when you start the game, you hand out answer cards to everybody. Everybody gets a set of 3 answer cards, A, B, and C. And then you read the card and you read A, B, and C. And then the people have to decide which one you think that they think you would answer.
Oh.
Okay. And then if you get it right, they give you a card. It's like a winning card. And it's a picture. It's a bunch of pictures. They depict things like, Lindsay Lohan, Dennis Rodman, and Kim Jong-un, R. Kelly pissing on somebody. So and you get those, and the first person to get 10 of those wins the game.
That's outstanding.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that could be fun.
It would be a great time. I mean, to be honest with you, you could have a recording just reading the cards. Some of them are kind of corny, but then there's some of them that you read and you're like, holy shit! Like, how do you actually get? Like, my sister-in-law was reading one of the cards and she couldn't even get through it. She was laughing so hard. And then my girlfriend was reading another card and she barely could read the question. She couldn't even get to the answers. Like, she was literally crying trying to read the answers. So I had to read the answers for her.
That's awesome.
That's how bad it is.
That's
Some of the cards are that bad. Yeah, it's a freaking trip. We play it when we go to Kelly's. We played it for her family Christmas.
That's
We went
cool.
over to her mom for family Christmas. We played it over there. So when we were playing it, and so when I got home that night, my ex asked me what I wanted for Christmas, and I asked her for that.
There you go.
So and then of course I was like, well, I don't remember if I asked anybody. So I was at Barnes and Nobles and I saw it there, so I picked it up myself. So I actually have
Nice.
a whole extra thing of it. So I have 2 boxes of it now. So I'll probably end up taking one back because they've got like expanded packs for it too.
Nice.
You can get even raunchier cards. So I'm figuring I might do something like that.
So it sounds a lot like a Cards Against Humanity, that kind of idea.
It's like
Perfect.
Cards Against Humanity, but it's a lot worse than that.
That's outstanding.
Yeah, like I said,
I'm gonna have to crack this set open then. It's been sitting on my shelf for a year.
You can literally crack it open and you can sit down and just read the cards and have a great time just by reading the cards without even playing with. You could by yourself just read some of the cards and be like, holy crap. So that was it.
I know what I'm bringing to work next time you and I are in the office together, Kev.
Oh Jesus, we won't get anything done.
No, probably
The
not.
best part of those games is inviting somebody over that would never say those words in public, and you have them read the cards in front of people that they've never met before.
Oh, that's even better.
It is so hilarious. Oh my God.
Right.
It's a good time.
So picture you're at your family Christmas with your mother. It's your mother, your sister, your brother, your sister-in-law, and her father. So you're with your mother trying to read these cards, and she's got to read the cards back.
Right.
And then you got your sister there, and then of course you got the daughter and the father-in-law together reading the cards. I mean, you're right. It's like watching, like when we go to Kelly's mom's house to do it, and having her mom read these cards. Her mom's a little short, like 4'9", grandma, and she's reading these cards in front of her kids.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's the most fun about it, is having to watch people read these cards in front of people that you would normally not read the cards in front of. Like
watching people squirm.
You and Hugh
and
some of that would do that. It wouldn't be that big a deal because you can see yourself saying shit like that to each other. But to have your wife sitting there playing it with you, and then having your mother there.
Yeah.
and having her have to read these cards out loud, it's just, you're right. It's just that dynamic. You're thinking to yourself, oh my God, this is hysterical.
Yeah,
So
that's kind of
that's where
how
the
it
fun
worked
comes
the
in,
first
yep.
time I played Cards Against Humanity. We
Yep.
actually had
Yep.
an IT Christmas party at my house, and I had to read out the one about, I don't even remember what it was, but I was having such a hard time getting it out because
Oh.
the director of IT was sitting across the table staring at me with his wife next to him, to which her answer to that card was 2 dicks at the same time. And this is one of those women that you would not think would ever say anything like that. And like, I am
Yep.
beat red. That's when the heavy drinking started, is because you got to find a way to get through it somehow.
Yeah, exactly.
And I figured you'd
That's the
appreciate
best.
that story, Kev.
That's the best. That's absolutely the best.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely the best.
So you ready to take a crack at this?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, so just let me ask a question real quick. It doesn't necessarily have to be a geeky thing so much as technology thing, just what's going on and what's making you happy kind of thing.
Yep. Anything that you think is cool or has got you kind of jazzed. We use the geek just because it plays into the name.
Yeah. So I've got, got a few things, obviously it was good holidays. I'm one of those people that 2020 was actually built for, because I'm pretty happy that I don't have to be around people. My wife and I we've been doing all right, working here at the house, and it's been going all right for us. Both stayed working, so it helped us out. But the holidays went well. It was just me and her, and my mother come over, and for Christmas and for Thanksgiving, and it was just it was nice. We had got a chance to use the pellet grill, and
nice,
and that was all real nice. The thing I think that really capped the holidays for me, my wife turned 50 this year, and she was supposed to go to Europe. Obviously, that all got canceled. We would have been in London and a few other places. That was her 50th, travel vacation, thing that she'd been planning for a while. And I wanted to see all these things and go to all these places. She wanted to go to Paris, and we're going to have dinner with the Eiffel Tower behind us and all this stuff. And it all got canceled. So, it was nice that here in the first part of December, we were able to find her a new snowmobile. We snowmobile together, so we both have sleds. So I sold her old one, which is actually one I rode, and I handed down to her. So I sold that, and so we had the cash for that, and I've been looking around and thinking about what we're going to get, whatever. And we got a real good deal on a brand new 2020 holdover. So still in the crate. So it's been ridden once from the trailer into my garage, from the garage back to the trailer, and that's it. So what's really got me excited is for when we can first time we can get out, and the snow hasn't been good. It was a nice spring day here. I mean, it's been really that bad. The winter has so far. So we're really looking forward to getting out and going for a ride, and I'm looking forward to her being on a new machine that has the technology they build into these things now and how they ride. It's gonna be perfect for her ability level. She's been ramping up her ability level over the last few years, and I've been ramping up the abilities of the machine, rebuilding the suspension, tuning it for her, things like that. So I'm really looking forward to her getting onto it. So that's what's got me pretty happy right now.
Awesome. Now, I haven't been on a snowmobile since I was probably 15. And what I remember most about that is they seem like they break down all the time. Is that still true?
No, and thank God, because they're more high tech than most vehicles are right now. Fuel injected and computer this and sensor that, and they're heavy. They're not what they were when we were kids.
Okay.
They're not those machines anymore. They're very reliable, and they ride. It's amazing how well they ride. you can be cruising along and end up in some really crap trails, stutter bumps, a drop off, something like that. I mean, trails get dug out, whatever. And the suspension is so good on these things, and the controls are so good on these things. You just ride through it, just keep right on going. And that's what I'm psyched for her, is that it'll take that worry out of those surprises on the trails, because the suspension is so much better, and the control of the sled is so much better. The seating position, if you got on one today, you would be amazed. First of all, how ridiculously comfortable they are, but the other thing is how fast they are and how well they handle. I mean, it's good and bad, because it's also the reason why we've had 3 deaths so far this year. This year,
Really?
we haven't even really had the snow. And it's already been 3 deaths on snowmobiles up north. So, you take the good with the bad.
Right.
But let's forget about that downer there for a second, and or forever, and get back to why I'm happy. No, I'm looking forward to that. So she's happy. She feels like she got her birthday back in order. We just need to be able to get out. My God, it's just got to turn into winter.
Right.
I don't live up here because I like it up here. I live up here because I like the weather.
Right. You want to be able to get out and play. Yes. There's none of that tonight. I stepped out this evening, and we have a sheet of ice out there. It started sleeting tonight, and it's just nastiness. Because I had marching orders. I'm supposed to be going to Target to pick up regular Monopoly, and that's going to tie into my stuff in a little bit here. But regular Monopoly, yes. But let me get my
who buys a regular Monopoly game?
Just standard edition.
Who doesn't have that in their house?
Right.
I have 2 kinds of Monopoly right now, and one of them I just got for Christmas.
Okay. What do you have?
I have Star Wars Monopoly, which is a classic trilogy edition that I've had forever, and the kids have lost part of my pieces on. And one of my key gifts this year for Christmas was the Mandalorian special edition Monopoly with all real steel like busts for the pieces.
Oh wow.
The game is so much fun. Kristen's one big complaint is the fact that they're all like pewter pieces for the 4 characters you can be. So she says they all look the same. It's hard to tell. And that's it. There's only 4 characters that you can be in this version of the game. You can be Mando, you can be Quill, you can be IG-11, and Cara Dune. Clearly, it's based off of season 1. All of the lands that you can buy are considered hideouts that you can buy, and it's the same idea. It's standard Monopoly idea. The money is in Imperial credits, and that drove Kristen crazy. She kept calling them dollars, and I snapped at her and told her that if she did it again, she was getting sent to her room. Because this is what we did last night. We used New Year's Eve to be a game night for the family. First we I'm skipping over my Gotcha Geeked, and we're going right into the holiday stuff apparently. What had me geeked is that Corbs, we have our first recruit for our cult, by the way.
Okay.
We have El Sedano, who does the Resurrected and Adam Warlock and Thanos podcast. He reached out to me and said he wants in on this cult, but he doesn't want to have to do anything. He just wants to have some of the abuse of power. Is what he said.
Nice.
We had an offhand remark that kind of bloomed into something last episode, and apparently now we're starting our own cult. I think it all started because Hugh revealed that he's actually like ordained. He's
yes, that was what it was. Yeah.
So we decided to build a cult around it. So that's happening. So I'm going. Kevin's out. He's disconnecting. Done.
Oh, I'm just weirdos. Like I'm kind of interested. I'm also kind of a little bit freaked out, but that's all right.
That's what we go on. We get you interested.
That works for us. So I'm gonna hop back to the Mando Monopoly from last night. Like I said, you use Imperial credits instead. That the idea is going around the board, buying up hideouts, and battling Imperials. There are 3 Imperial tokens that are on the board that are also working their way around the board. You have your Incinerator Trooper, you have your Death Trooper, and Moff Gideon. You have to battle 4 of each of the troopers, but there's only 1 Moff Gideon card. If you defeat him, the game's over. You win. But you also have to care for the child. When you cross paths with him, now you have to bring his token around with you. And it also there's a special die, and it's only 1, 2, or 3. So when you're carrying him, your movement's cut in half.
No.
So about 2 minutes into the game, at first you're jazzed because if you're watching The Mandalorian, you're like, oh my God, I got the child. Well, you realize real quick that this fucker's weighing you down. So, the only one that was still happy about it by the end of the game was Madison, because she's just the sweetest thing ever. And so she's like, oh, I got the child. Everyone else is like, this fucker. Like, God. So we ended up playing 2 rounds of it. The first round, Kylie destroyed everybody.
Nice.
She had a mound of credits. Like, this kid, literally, and she had most of the good properties just by chance because she had no idea what she was doing.
Right.
And she was just buying shit up, and everyone was hitting it. There's one of the red ones off of the corner of free parking. If you're familiar with it, like you hit that corner, that's the one that everybody kept hitting, and that was hers. And so she was just raking in the credits to the point where I was down to literally 20 credits, and I had to wheel and deal with her to get past her. I ended up selling her a couple of my signet cards, which give you special abilities. You can steal hideouts from other people, which I did to Kristen, and she was furious because it was basically that their version of Boardwalk and Park Place. I had one and I stole the other from her, so I had the full set, and she was really mad. But the second round I won. And neither one of them was I the one to kill Moff Gideon. We won on credits.
Right.
But that is a lot of fun. Some of the lands, the stuff they use are really cool. Like one of them is Mos Eisley Cantina. One's the lava fields.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. There's one is the Mudhorns Cave. So
Okay.
and it's a really low value one, but I wanted it just because it was a Mudhorn Cave. So I didn't play very strategically. I was playing just to have a good time. But that's how we handled New Year's Eve last night. What did you guys do?
I went to my girlfriend's house for a while, and then I came home and watched the ball drop with my son for the first time.
Nice.
He stayed up until midnight last night, so that was it. But I didn't do anything. I don't do anything for New Year's.
No, we usually stay home too. It's not. She's always talked about wanting to do one of the hotel things where you got to go get dressed up and do the whole thing, and I'm just like, I don't like people.
My
Too many
Kelly
people.
Kelly did the same thing. She said she used to do that with her ex. They, like, 5 years in a row, they went to a couple different hotels, whatever, and they had a bunch of these different themes or whatever. And I'm like, I mean, the way she was explaining it sounded good. I mean, for the price, you get the hotel room,
Mm-hmm.
you get like a happy hour, drinks, dinner, champagne toast. You get like a DJ and a band, and then in the morning you get breakfast. So it seems like the price works out. But like you, I don't like people that much. I mean, I'm okay with going to certain places and hanging out and stuff like that. But you put me in a room with people I don't really know, I kind of like will sit in a corner and
Mope.
No, not mope, but probably drink a little more than I probably should.
Just call that a Saturday night. I mean,
Yeah.
And then I'm the guy that'll fall down and fall into the DJ booth or something.
scatter records everywhere.
Yeah,
Do they even
exactly.
still use vinyl for DJs now, or is it all
No,
basically iTunes?
Yeah, I think it's just I think the guy just puts on his iTunes and walks away and gets paid.
That's it. He's just got to make sure it stays plugged in. That's all.
Yeah, exactly. He's got to plug it in to make sure it works. He's got to make sure it stays charged for the night, and come back and check it every once in a while. And he goes off and drinks and hits on chicks.
Hits on chicks. Takes the free food. I'm
Exactly.
starting to see a problem here. I don't know why I didn't become a DJ.
Seriously.
Tone deaf. That might have something to do with it.
No, well, you don't have to be. You don't have to be
Pretty-
tone deaf to be a
pretty-
DJ. You just gotta, put some music on and walk away.
Yeah, but have you heard the playlist that I played during my parties there? It's not really stuff that people want to hear,
Well, it's true. You gotta understand the crowd that you're playing.
right?
You know.
I mean,
Right.
I think for my birthday party, the last time, I literally had it on repeat, and it was 3 Tool songs, and I just let it go for like an hour to see if anybody noticed.
I don't think anybody did.
One person did, but they were in on the joke. They thought it was pretty funny. So
Okay, so then nobody noticed then. If one person noticed and he knew about it, then
well, he knew about it after. He looked at me. He's like, I see what you're doing.
nice.
Is it
Same with
because
you.
all Tool songs sound the same?
Oh, that's not nice. But you may not be wrong.
It's something I heard. I'm sorry.
Oh. I can play a few of them for you and see if you can tell the difference. Maybe if you got an hour to play 2 songs.
That's about right.
So what, anybody gets cool shit for Christmas?
Mhm.
I got money.
That's always cool.
That's it. I got money and gift cards. That's what I mean, but that's what I asked for. So I guess that's cool.
Kevin's got something. He's over there nodding with that
Yeah,
smile.
yeah.
Kathy somehow found out that there was it's a wireless they're meat probes or temperature probes for your grill, and there's a controller box, and then they have 4 probes that actually physically connect to it, but they could also connect wireless probes to it. But this box is actually on your Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, whatever. So you can just use an app on your phone to keep track of all the temperatures of all the different things that you're smoking or grilling, right?
Mhm.
Up to this point, I've only had 1 probe, and I only have 1 readout. I have to go out to the grill to see it. So a friend of mine has had this. It's a Tapacue. So it's a controller with the 4 probes. He's had it for a while, and he's always telling me about it. And I've thought, well, I might get that in the spring. It gets back to the grilling season. Well, Kathy talked to my buddy PJ, and she found out about it, and I got it for Christmas, and it was an awesome surprise.
That's awesome.
Awesome surprise.
Yeah, nice.
Yes. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to using that.
That'll be fun.
Yeah. The grills, they don't they're not an even temperature across the whole thing. You might have a hot spot in the center, might be warmer on one end than it is on the other end. So when you have different things in there, it's nice to know what the temperatures are. I mean, before I cooked with probes, everything I made was well done. And now that I'm using probes, I actually understand what a really good steak tastes like,
Interesting.
to the point where we don't even go out and order steak anymore. I mean, we can't. It's so much better when you do it yourself. And when you know what the temperature is and you get it just right, it's awesome. You just can't compare anything to that.
I have yet to do that
Pretty happy.
because I've never heard of these probes thing before. Like, I've got my temperature dial on it, and I trust that, and apparently I shouldn't. So,
because the grill is going to be one temperature, right? So here's, I'll just explain to you what I found out about mine. It's a pellet grill, and before I had that, I always had charcoal because I never liked the flavor of a propane. So what I found out with mine is that the temperature sensor for the grill itself, in other words, what you see on the controller when you dial up, I want 300 degrees, it uses the temperature probe on the far left hand side of the barrel because it's kind of a round barrel with a big door.
mm-hmm.
The temperature probe is on the left hand side, so it tells you what the temperature of the barrel is on the left hand side of the barrel. In the center of the door is the old fashioned round gauges, that has it's a coil inside of it with a probe that sticks down, and that tells you basically what the temperature is at the center of the barrel. Those coil temperature sensors really aren't that accurate, so
Gotcha.
You really don't really know that what it says is right, but it's always different than what it says on the left hand side, that sensor on the left hand side. Well, I already know that the right hand side of the barrel is the coolest side. So depending on what I have and what I want, if I have something that takes longer, it goes in the center. If I have something that takes, less time, it goes on one of the ends or up on a rack. And I just got to kind of guess at it. If it's only one thing, I can put the temperature probe in and I'm good. But when I've got, you got a pork loin in there, but you also want to do some brats, maybe I want to do some burgers. It'd be nice to know what the temperatures are of the different things. You can pull them off at the right time. You pull them off, you cover them, and they sit and they can, stay nice and juicy and have their, have the flavor keep. And that's what this will do. The different temperatures will tell you what the actual meat is doing, and you can vary the temperature of the grill based on what you're seeing in the actual meat. Maybe a little bit higher, a little bit hotter temperature, a little bit cooler temperature to get to where you want to get. And the probes, they're everything. It makes it cheating. It really does, because you can't do it wrong. You're going to get it the right temperature to make sure that you're not going to kill anybody, and it's the right temperature to make sure you're not going to overdo it, and it's not going to be underdone, and you can't go wrong. He doesn't have to be wireless either. You can just use a regular, little temperature thing on the side that has a couple of probes to it. You just got to go out and look at it. It's no big deal. You walk outside, it's another reason to grab a beer.
Right. I mean, that's not wrong there. That's something I'm going to have to look into. All right.
You don't have to spend a lot of money on them. The temperature probes you can get all different kinds. Yeah.
Because usually when I take Kevin's advice, it costs me a little bit of money.
That goes the other way too, Paul, as I found.
Yes, it does. Well, I'll stop right there.
Shall I go get what's on the kitchen table and show people what I'm talking about?
No, that's all right.
Okay.
Wrong show for that.
Okay.
All right. But in that same vein, I was gifted socks. This goes back to a discussion we were having about how socks are important for Christmas at our age. But these socks were something special. Kristen had the initiative to make custom socks for me. And knowing I'm a big fan of The Mandalorian, they are tangentially Mandalorian themed. They're green socks, and written on them it says Mandalorian. I brought them tonight because I wanted you guys to be able to see them. Let's hope I do this right. Let's put this up in the screen right there for you. Where is it sticking? Oh, it's gonna have to go.
Down.
Can you guys? Go. Yeah. Do you see what that picture is?
Who's the weirdo on the picture?
That would be me. The day that I had my freak out and shaved my beard off and just left my mustache. And these pictures will go up with the show. So the Mandalorian, she thought this was the funniest fucking thing. I'm hoping you guys can still hear me because I was leaning off to the side.
Yep, no, it's good.
There we go. So yeah, I have my Mandalorian socks with my stupid face on it. And this, I've learned my lesson to never send funny pictures to Kristen again, because it comes back to bite me in the ass. Now I have to stare at that. I look like a serial killer in that picture.
You do.
That's but these are nice socks, so I'm wearing them to work the next time I come to the office. This is what yes that it has to be done. But I think it's just about time to go to break. When we come back, Corbs, you ready to do your classic movie review?
Yeah, why not?
All right. So we'll be back in just a minute, guys, and stay tuned.
The 4th annual Sci-Fi Horror Fest returns in 2021 with an all-new location. This family-friendly event will have new celebrity guests, new activities and attractions, as well as a diverse selection of vendors, ranging from horror and sci-fi merchandise, artists and authors, tattoo artists, podcasts, as well as unique vendors like breweries and wineries. Sci-Fi Horror Fest will be held on August 27th and 28th at the Vernon Downs Casino and Hotel in Vernon, New York. Guest announcements will begin after the new year. For all up-to-date information, including tickets, vendor space, and sponsorship packages,
go to www.sci-fi-horrorfest.com. Please note, dates of event are subject to change due to any lasting issues due to COVID-19.
I'm Al Sedano, host of Resurrections and Adam Warlock and Thanos podcast. We were on a bit of a hiatus earlier this year, although we still did put out one episode each month. But we will be back this May as we finish up Adam and Thanos' appearances in the 70s, as well as Infinity Wars and the Infinity Entity miniseries. Join us every other Sunday. Just type in Adam Warlock or Thanos into your favorite podcatcher and we will pop up. Or go to resurrectionsadamwarlock.tumblr.com.
All right, and welcome back. So we're going to go right into the classic movie review.
I feel like you should have theme music for me to edit this in, especially when it comes right out of a break. I could totally do that if I was more ambitious.
But you're not, so we won't go there. It should take you weeks to put these up.
Right.
Now you're getting better now. It's a couple of days.
Right. Don't fuck it up is what you're telling me. We got a good thing going. Don't fuck it up.
Let's keep it basic. Let's not add music and shit like that.
I'm hearing that out of you guys a lot. We were at the beer fest. Hugh says, "Don't fuck this up for me." Now you're telling me not to fuck it up by adding music in. There's a theme here. That's what I'm saying.
Let's get it to a point where we're doing it every week, and you're getting it out in a reasonable time, and then we can start adding more stuff on your plate.
Then we start getting flashy. Is that what you're saying?
There you go. We gotta get a base for the people coming to us, listening to the podcast, and then we can start adding, maybe draw more people in, because we get like this, we do a few, we get into it, and then next thing something happens, and we don't record for 6 months, or the world shuts down.
Year.
The world shuts down.
Take a year off,
I mean, you and I started this 4-5 years ago, more than that now.
2014.
Was it 2014?
So this summer will be 7 years.
Yeah,
we haven't even broken 100 episodes yet. That's how good our track record is. No, this is episode 86.
What was the episode that we did at your dad's house when we were all sitting on the table there?
50.
Was that 50?
Yes, it was.
Is that 50? With freaking who was it? Me, you, Hugh, Wiggins was there.
Yeah, basically just about everybody that had been on before we invited back. That the other Andrew was there, wasn't he? The bald guy.
I think so. Yeah.
The really awkward guy. Laura was there.
Yep.
And then we had a bunch of people send in recorded congratulations for us that were in on there.
Yeah, I think Jack wasn't Jack there too.
Jack might have been, yes, because I think we had to separate him and Andrew because I think that's when Andrew was bullying him.
That stopped?
Well, when I stopped having Andrew on, yeah, that stopped.
but Jack got bullied all the time.
He had it coming, yes. That was his. Yeah, he was a punching bag.
He really was. Nice kid though. But...
Very nice kid. Yeah. Too bad your sports show never got off the ground.
Yeah, we won't go there with him. Speaking of Wiggins, how about them Bills?
How about them Bills? Wow. Yeah.
So I remember all through school. He's like, "Oh, this is the year."
Yeah.
And they finished like 4-12
every year. Yeah.
And this year they win the division. Good for them.
Fucking Bills. Sorry.
Yeah, seriously. All right, I digress. Let's get into the movie review. So this week, I decided I'm going to review a classic.
Yes, I was going to say this puts the classic in classic movie reviews.
Now, before I was doing like bad 80s movies. We were talking about that. I was doing some bad ones. This one is a good 80s movie, and if anybody says they haven't seen it, then they need to leave. So I'm doing Ghostbusters.
The OG Ghostbusters.
Yes, OG's original Ghostbusters.
1984. June 8th, 1984. And I know that because I have the he does his review, and then I go back and get Roger Ebert's review just so we get the dichotomy, Kev. Just so you know.
I mean, the whole thing of it is it's a great movie, classic. Spawned two sequels. They did a remake with an all-female cast. They're making a fourth one that's coming out this year, hopefully, if we can get to the movie theaters. And then animation, video
yeah,
games.
I forgot about the cartoon series. Yes.
Yeah, cartoon series and all that stuff. So the graphics in it for between now and then, now it would be considered poor, but back then it was really cool. You know, Slimer, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, all great at the time, were fantastic movie animations, I thought.
Oh my God, yes. I remember like as a kid that was
seeing Slimer for the first time.
Yeah.
Going, oh my God, you know, how do they do stuff like that? Now that's normal stuff now. You know, having, you know, all that animation stuff in there and whatnot. Now they make movies that are basically just strictly animation.
Mm-hmm.
But you're talking about having actors. I mean, you got Bill Murray, who's a classic. He's a classic actor. He's hysterical in that movie. Dan Aykroyd, another outstanding actor, very funny. He wrote it, which for a while I didn't know. And then Harold Ramis, they co-wrote it together. And they co-wrote it. Dan Aykroyd started out writing it, and he pitched it to Ivan Reitman, who's the director. And he's like, well, you know, and the reason I know this is I was watching on TV the other day. They had a behind the scenes of Ghostbusters. So I got a lot of inside information about it. The movie originally was nothing like it is in the movie. It was completely different. It had like intergalactic travel.
Really?
Yeah, and I thought to myself, you know, that might have been pretty cool to see some of that stuff. But they brought Harold Ramis in and they rewrote it and wrote it to what they have now. And the two of them signed on. Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis signed on right away to do it. Bill Murray took a while to sign on to it, which
is funny because he was the last one to sign on for the upcoming one too.
Yes. So,
except for Harold Ramis, obviously.
Well, he can't sign on.
No.
Rest in peace, my friend. So, great movie, great graphics, funny movie. For the time, you know, some of the you still quote some of the movies now, mm-hmm. and stuff. I mean, I find myself saying stuff on there, quoting stuff on there, you know, and it's a movie that no matter when it's on, and I found this odd that it's true. It's a stop and watch movie.
Mm-hmm.
If you're flipping through the channels and you see that it's on, you will stop and watch it. You may not watch the whole thing.
No. Yeah, it stays on for a little bit. Yep.
Yeah, you'll turn it on for a little bit, or you'll see that it's on, and you'll be like, oh, it's almost to that part. So I'm going to come back in 5 minutes and watch, you know, the part, like watch the Stay Puft Marshmallow part.
Yes.
Something to that effect, you know. And I thought to myself when I heard that, when I was watching that behind the scenes thing, I thought to myself, he's not wrong. No matter when it's on, you'll stop and watch it. You may not watch, the whole thing. You may watch a half an hour. And then sometimes you end up watching the whole thing and you don't even realize it.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that's a sign of a classic movie.
Without a doubt.
And you can watch it now, and it's still funny now. You still laugh at the same parts. You still laugh at the same jokes. You know, to me, it's a movie that stands the test of time. And you know, I didn't see the remake with the females in it.
Me either.
But I heard it was pretty good. You know, it didn't get the, I guess, the kudos from the population, the Ghostbusters. They have, like, I didn't realize they have conventions about this. They got guys that dress up and they got the suits and the proton packs and they go and they.
Yeah, we have a chapter here in Syracuse.
They do?
We ran into them last Halloween. Not this one, obviously, because you couldn't run into anybody this Halloween. But we went to a trunk or treat with the kids out at one of the dealerships on 31, and they were one of the trunks set up. They had their little version of the Ecto one, with two of the guys in the full suits and the packs and everything. And yeah, I mean, I may have asked about what it would take to join.
I can see that.
Because I can't cosplay as a superhero. I don't have a superhero physique, but I could totally be a Ghostbuster. Just saying.
Yep. You could.
I mean, you could be Sandman.
I am lumpy, so yeah, that might work.
I'm just saying, or the Thing.
Very lumpy, but yeah.
The Thing.
A couple years, I probably will look more like the Thing. So,
isn't there an Ecto one around? One or two of them around Syracuse somewhere? I mean, a fairly realistic.
Yeah, I've seen at least one of them. Yeah, it was at Syracuse, New York Comic-Con year 2. So we're talking 2018, 2017. I remember it. Yeah.
Yeah, it had the whole siren, the whole bit.
Mm-hmm. Someone recorded it. It randomly drove through Township 5 one day. It wasn't even near Halloween. Just the guy that owns it brought it out and just drove it around just to fuck off. So
yeah, I'd drive that thing every freaking day if I had it.
Yeah. A lot of room to stash figures in the back.
Figures or bodies?
What? I mean, what?
Don't go there. But now wait a minute. Now the one thing you haven't mentioned is that, you know, it had absolutely the best female actress in that movie of all time.
Annie Potts?
Annie Potts. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Annie freaking Potts.
I mean, but just think about the
love me some Annie Potts.
Think about the people that were in that: Bill Murray, Harold Ramis, Dan Aykroyd, Annie Potts, Rick Moranis, Ernie Hudson, Sigourney Weaver. I mean,
which is who he was really talking about, Sigourney Weaver. Yes.
But
in case that wasn't obvious,
I was talking about Annie Potts.
Are you serious?
I was talking about Annie Potts. I freaking love her.
I do. She's great. She's a great comedian. But I was being a smartass because I thought you were going Sigourney Weaver on that. Sorry.
No, I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of Sigourney Weaver. Really, I'm not. I mean, I like Aliens. I like the whole backstory about it. You know, I like her from that. But no, Annie Potts, man, she's
funny, very funny lady.
Yeah, and she's great in that too. I mean, it's just you got to think for redheads.
Yes.
So that's it. You know, it's to me great movie. Again, stop and watch it whenever it's on. Matter of fact, I was talking to you the other day about it when I was trying to figure out which movie I was going to do. I was deciding between two. I went with that one, but I was watching it that day, and that's why I decided to do it, because I was like, you know what? This movie, whenever this movie's on, I got to watch.
Good time.
Yeah,
always a good time.
I watched the second one right after it, so which, you know,
I love it when they do that.
That's not a bad movie either.
No, I like to. I like it a lot.
I quote that one all the time. Mm-hmm. I love that one. I love when Peter Nichols, the guy, goes, he's Vigo. I do that all the time. I used to do it to I'll do it every once in a while. I'll text it to my ex just out of the random blue. I'm like, but he's Vigo.
You know, they just put out this last year, like a collector's series of figures of the original Ghostbusters.
I did not.
Like legit, like looks like the actor sculpts, like all real deal, the 6-inch like everything else is right now, and they didn't sell. And I think it's because the sequel didn't come out when it was supposed to.
Right.
They're rotting on the shelves.
Yeah. The sequel was supposed to come out over the summer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So. And then Walmart just re-released. They did repros of the cartoon line. I saw them the other day at Walmart.
Okay.
So I thought that was pretty neat, but the kids have no interest. They don't know what Ghostbusters is yet.
No, my son doesn't. My son doesn't really either. He's seen a little bit of it. He loves the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Yes. Oh my God.
He loves it.
Such a great part.
It is.
So what would you give it stars wise?
No, I'm giving it out of 5.
Yes.
7.
Perfect. Did you need to take the remedial math at ITT or?
I took it a couple times.
Yeah, me too. All right. Now, Roger Ebert disagrees with you.
Of course he does. Everybody does.
He says it's a 3.5-star movie.
Yeah, well, what does he know?
Still not a bad rating. And this was published on June 8th, 1984, same as the release date of the movie.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go ahead here, and it's not
Fairly
as long
long.
as I thought it was. But just bear with me. Ghostbusters, in quote marks, by the way, is a head-on collision between two comic approaches that have rarely worked together very successfully. This time they do. It's 1, a special effects blockbuster, and 2, a sly dialogue movie in which everybody talks to each other like smart graduate students who are in on the joke. In the movie's climactic scenes, an apocalyptic psychic mindquake is rocking Manhattan, and the experts talk like Bob and Ray. Not quite sure what he means there. But
Yeah, me either.
this movie is an exception to the general rule that big special effects can wreck a comedy. Special effects require painstaking detail work. Comedy retires spontaneity and improvisation, or at least that's what it should feel like, no matter how much work has gone into it. In movies like Steven Spielberg's 1941, the awesome scale of the special effects dominated everything else. We couldn't laugh because we were holding our breath. Not this time. Ghostbusters has a lot of neat effects, some of them mind-boggling, others just quick little throwaways, as when a transparent green slime monster gobbles up a mouthful of hot dogs. No matter what effects are being used, they're placed at the service of the actors instead of feeling as if the characters have been carefully posed in front of special effects. We feel they're winging this adventure as they go along. The movie stars Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, and Harold Ramis, 3 graduates of the Second City National Lampoon Saturday Night Live tradition. They're funny, but they're not afraid to reveal that they're also quick-witted and intelligent. Their dialogue puts nice little spins on American cliches, and it uses understatement, irony, in-jokes, vast cynicism, and cheerful goofiness. Rarely has a movie this expensive provided so many quotable lines. Look at, you're pretty on the nose with this so far.
Yeah.
The plot, such as it is, involves an epidemic of psychic nuances. Reports in Manhattan, Murray, Ramis, and Aykroyd defrocked parapsychologists whose university experiments have been exposed as pure boondoggle. That's a word you don't get a lot anymore.
Nope.
I'm bringing that one back. I'm taking it. Create a company named Ghostbusters and offered his speed to the rescue like a supernatural version of the Orkin Man. Business is bad until Sigourney Weaver notices that the eggs in her kitchen are frying themselves. Her next-door neighbor, Rick Moranis, notices horrifying monsters in the apartment hallway. They both apparently live in a building that serves as a conduit to the next world. The Ghostbusters ride to the rescue, armed with nuclear-powered backpacks. There's a lot of talk about arcane details of psychic lore, most of which the Ghostbusters are inventing on the spot, and then an earth-shaking showdown between good and evil, during which Manhattan is menaced by a monster that is 20 stories high and about which I cannot say one more word without spoiling the movie's best visual moment. Ghostbusters is one of those rare movies where the original, fragile comic vision has survived a multi-million-dollar production. It is not a complete vindication for big-budget comedies, since it's still true as a general rule that the more you spend, the fewer laughs you get. But it uses its money wisely, and when that monster marches down a Manhattan Avenue and climbs the side of a skyscraper, we're glad they spent the money for the special effects because it gets one of the biggest laughs in a long time.
Yep.
Well, it sounds like he liked it.
Yeah, but then he only gives it a 3.5, which I guess is the middle of the road.
Yeah.
So
That's Roger Ebert, though. I mean, from what I can remember when watching and listening to some of his reviews, he very rarely like 5-star movies, like comedies.
right.
I mean,
yeah, no.
some movies I know he liked. I mean, gave him 5 stars and whatnot. But there was very, very rarely did he ever say a comedy was like, "God, I got to go see this movie. It's going to be,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, no, be all." He always bagged on. He always bagged on comedies. He bagged on action movies.
Right, because they were
So-
too lowbrow for him, I think.
Right.
He was that kind of guy.
Yeah.
So there it is. Your 7-star review and his 3.5. So
10.5 stars.
10.5. Oh, it just
Yeah.
went up again. Jesus.
Well, it averages out to about around 5, so that's good.
Yeah, it
5
works.
plus.
That's perfect. I'll take
So-
it. And now you're a Ghostbusters fan, I assume as well, Kevin.
Oh yeah, God, I love those movies.
Those were great.
I love those movies.
And I am looking forward to the new one to see what they do.
Actually, I am too. I am too. I'm looking forward to seeing the new one when it comes out.
Whenever that may be at this point.
Seriously.
Because we have our whole new way of movies coming out, and this feeds right into the next thing I wanted to talk about. Christmas Day. Big anticipated movie came out supposedly in theaters, I hear, as well as on HBO Max streaming. First time ever we've had a same day release, I believe, right?
Yes. Very first one that did it.
Yes. And I know at least Kevin has also watched this movie. I don't know if you have. We're talking about Wonder Woman 84.
I have not seen it, but that doesn't bother me. You guys can talk about it.
Okay. Now Kevin was texting me throughout, and it sounds like he kind of felt the same way I did about it. Now, I got a 2-week free trial of HBO Max when I purchased something for Kristen through Best Buy, and it worked out perfectly because Madison is a huge Wonder Woman fan. Loved the first movie, has been anticipating this one, so this worked out perfect. It was like an extra Christmas present for Madison because we watched it Christmas evening. I'll preface it with saying she loved the movie. All 3 of the girls in the house loved the movie.
How did the actual comic book person like the movie?
It was okay at best.
Okay, let me ask you this question. You watched it at home. Do you think it would have been better on the big screen?
Everything's better on the big screen if you ask me, but it wouldn't have made the movie any better.
Okay.
Because even a disappointing movie on the big screen is still really disappointing.
Okay. I just was wondering because
it's fair question.
Some movies you can see on the big screen and they don't translate to the small screen. My go-to movie with that is Independence Day.
Yeah, that's definitely a watch it on the big screen movie. Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Welcome to Earth. Yes.
Right. The White House blowing up.
That's a really good point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's the reason why I was asking. Some movies you can see on the small screen and it translates. Some movies you have to see on the big screen.
You're not wrong. You are not wrong.
So
this is not one of those movies.
Okay, that's why I was wondering. It's what I was wondering. I was figuring maybe if you'd seen it on the big screen, maybe it might have come off a little bit better.
It may have.
So I read. Let me just throw something in here real quick.
Go ahead.
I had read, and I've heard several reviews about the movie, and they really put into words what I was thinking at the time. There was 3 different storylines that they were trying to munge together all at the same time, and it made the movie very long.
Yes.
I'm not opposed to that. That doesn't bother me. The length of the movie doesn't bother me. The fact that they didn't really have a concentration on a single story, that I guess that's what kind of put me into it's an okay movie category versus it's an awesome movie. I love the first movie.
Yes.
I have actually suggested that the original Wonder Woman movie to a few friends of mine that wouldn't watch a comic book movie if you paid them. I know one person, she's a teacher, used to work with, she bought it and took it home, showed it to her daughters, and she texted me that night and she's like, "This is awesome. This is a great movie." She goes, "I'm really happy that I watched it, and thank you for suggesting it." But what really struck me, and I think I said this to you, Paul, what really struck me about the movie, and I mean, I guess this is what always happens with actors, the 2 main actors, I guess you could probably say all 3 of the main actors in this movie, up until very recently, were all walk-on extras.
Mm-hmm.
They were people that you saw, in a lot of places, but they weren't really, you didn't know who they were.
They weren't stars. They were ensemble actors. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to go back and you got to watch the movies that they were in. You got, oh my God, there's Pedro Pascal. Oh my God, there's Gal Gadot.
Yep.
They've been in so much. They've been around for so long, but you had no idea who they were. And here they are now. They're they're the A+,
Stars in their
fighting
own
for the
right.
top
Yes.
billing in this movie. And I thought that was great because I love even Kristen Wiig. I liked her a lot. I think her character. I don't think they developed it as well as they could. But I love Wonder Woman. I love the story. It's the best thing DC's got going, and good for them for not making another dark DC movie. I'm so over their overemphasis on
Dark and brooding.
the yeah, it's just come
Everything
on.
was.
Oh, but Wonder Woman is not.
No.
And I'm not going to ruin it for anybody in case anybody hasn't seen it, but they did some fan service in this movie that when I saw it, and Kathy will tell you, my wife will tell you, when I saw it, I felt like it was 12 years old again. I'm like, oh my God, that's freaking awesome. Are you freaking kidding me? She just did what?
Yes.
And I think you know what I mean, Paul.
I'm pretty sure I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I'll just say,
like, there it is.
With the fireworks.
There it is. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. The only way that I could throw it out there without ruining anything is that's the only way I could say it. So that was cool. And again, the only way they could do it. Once you see it, Corbs,
I did like it.
Okay.
Yeah, I did like the movie, but I like it from the seat of a comic book nerd, a comic book junkie, and a fan of the main actors. Two of the main actors. I like it from that aspect. I like it from the fact that I like the first movie. It had some flaws, maybe.
It had some corniness to it, but they're also saying that a lot of that was attributed to the time period. They're saying, and the quality of the special effects, they're also saying was intentional, seeing as this is supposed to be during the 80s. Now, and I will say at the credits, did you pay attention during the credits themselves? And they had all the blips and skips and stuff in them, like it was a VHS tape. Like as the credits are rolling, you get the little blips and imperfections, and that made me giggle. And watch through the credits because there is an after credit scene that makes the whole movie worthwhile. That was just one of the coolest things, and a really nice salute to the past. And again, I don't want to give too much away because the movie's been out for a week. So
that stinger. The stinger probably made the movie for me.
Yes.
It really did. It turned me from it's okay to oh my God, that's awesome. Yeah.
And now I liked Pedro Pascal in it because I like him as an actor, but that whole role, I thought the whole time Nathan Fillion should be playing that.
Oh wow.
He was
the Green Lantern?
No. Well, he was the voice of Green Lantern once.
No, you realize he was supposed to be the Green Lantern.
Yeah, I remember they talked about that. Yeah.
Not Ryan Reynolds.
I don't think anything was going to save that movie, but that would have been good. I could have seen him as Hal Jordan as well.
Yeah, that's why I said that.
Topic for another day. Yeah. But I kind of like Green Lantern.
It's all right, but with me being a huge Green Lantern fan, that was a swift kick in the nuts for me.
Oh.
So
that's your problem because Green Lantern wasn't really,
Oh, I've got some trades that you need to read then because when Jeff Johns was writing it, oh my God, that was a phenomenal book. Funny story that I think I've told you before, Corbs, and it makes me sound like an awful, horrible person. I went opening night to see Green Lantern. We were in New Hampshire for my wife's
I remember
grandmother's funeral. I went to the movies at midnight to go see that.
You're a horrible person.
I had permission. The only thing that had to be done, because Madison was an infant at the time, was that she had to go down for bed, and we had to get her down for to go to bed in the hotel before we left. This is a longer story though.
You left her alone by herself?
With Kristen. No, Kristen didn't go to the movie. She wanted no part of that.
You went by yourself?
I went with a bunch of Kristen's cousins. We all bounced.
Oh my god.
Yeah, some of them still hate me to this day because that was so bad. And we saw it in 3D. It was the first 3D movie I saw.
Oh god.
Yeah. So, and most of the 3D was talking heads. Like they did a lot of the 3D for the just the dialogue scenes. Not good. But yeah. So I can't deny I'm kind of an awful person with that one. It's also one of my favorite stories. So
yeah,
Kev,
Nathan Fillion for that role.
Right?
I could see that. I could see really. I thought it was cool, Pascal showing some of his breadth. He could actually do something a little bit different. Because before Mandalorian, he was a lot of times he's a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I don't want to ruin some of the movies he's been in for some folks if you haven't seen him, because he hasn't really. And some of the stuff, you might have just kind of passed by. But I was surprised. One of the ones I caught recently that he was in, and he turned out to be a bad guy. I caught it pretty early on, kind of figured it out. But he does a good job with it. He does a good job with that. And this one, he's out there, and it's just not a role that I've seen him fill before.
No, and what's cool is that he got a chance to really chew the scenery. Like he got to be over the top, and it was awesome. And again, like me, he really was. Yeah, I'm mostly familiar with him from Mandalorian, and so this was a huge difference than what you normally see. Like completely other end of the spectrum. My favorite thing is do the thing. Yeah,
you really got to seek out some of his older stuff. Some of the stuff he's been in, and you really see who he was, the kind of roles he's been playing. A lot of times it's law enforcement or military or paramilitary, CIA operative kind of stuff. I'm trying to think, what are the other roles?
Guy who refuses to wear a helmet.
IMDb up. I could look. I'm gonna say this. Mandalorian is the only time he's ever worn a helmet that I can recall. But when they picked him for that role, I was like, okay, whatever. I guess they just wanted somebody they didn't have to pay a lot of money to.
Right.
That's all I could figure.
Yeah. Now look at it. Whole different story.
Mm-hmm.
Now they got to worry about his
back problems, I guess.
Yeah. Wow, I was just gonna go there.
Sorry, didn't mean to ruin it for you.
That's all right. That happens a lot too. I get my punchline stolen from me. So I'm assuming you watched on HBO Max as well. You obviously didn't go to the theater. Do you have an HBO Max subscription, or are you doing a free trial as well?
So we normally pick up HBO through the winter. We did last year so we could, burn through Game of Thrones and some other stuff. Then I dropped it because their content got kind of thin. Yeah. So I had planned on picking it back up, but Wonder Woman was a good reason to grab back into it.
Nice. Now, have you checked out any of the other DC stuff on HBO Max? Because I've been looking at that stuff lately.
I will be.
We just started into Titans. And if you haven't seen that yet, oh my God, that is a whole different kind of DC show. And it's going right back to the dark and brooding. But for this show, it works. It really works. I don't want to give too much away if you're going to check it out, because it's really good. I think we're 3 or 4 episodes in.
Yeah, it's Titans, and Watchmen is on there.
Yes.
And what else?
Doom Patrol.
I think. Doom Patrol. Okay.
Yeah, and then a lot of the older movies.
Wasn't Doom Patrol a cartoon about a dog?
No.
This is something else.
I don't know. You must be. That's Paw Patrol. There you go. That's
oh, I knew my cousin's kid had something like that. I don't know what the hell it was.
That's a whole different thing right there. As I understand it, Doom Patrol is way the fuck out there. Like,
Really?
Way Patrol. That's one of the episodes is called Sex Patrol, just so you know.
Oh, good. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that.
So I guess some of the stuff is gone away now. Like the Michael Keaton Batman movies are off of HBO Max already. Some of the animated series are supposed to be showing up in January. Batman Beyond, Batman the Animated Series from the early 90s. So I have to check it out fast because I have 6 days left on my free trial. So
Good luck.
right. I gotta get all that out of the way.
They're having a really good deal right now. If you buy it for 6 months, if you pay in advance, you can get it for significantly less than $15 a month.
I may have to look at that then,
It's like
because
11
there
something.
is good content. So
Yeah.
I'll have to look into that. The only other streaming thing I wanted to talk about before we head into our second break. Have you guys heard of Tubi? Tubi?
I've seen commercials for it.
I have, but why? Why have I heard of it?
It's a completely free app for streaming, and there is a ton of shit on there.
Okay.
What I found on there was the old G.I. Joe cartoons, and the Highlander TV series. I was starting to rewatch through that, so I added it to my. What's that look for? You know, like Highlander.
That's awesome. I love Highlander.
Oh my god, I loved all that, except the last movie. The last movie sucked, but that typically happens when you're about 5 movies in. So, but I found it right on the TV. We have a Vizio, so we don't get a lot of the really cool apps. Like Disney Plus still isn't on my Vizio, but this was on there, and so again, at Christmas night. What?
Whoa! You don't have a Roku?
I have a Fire Stick. That's what we use it for.
Well,
we do Disney Plus and all that on the Fire Stick. Did I?
Yeah, do all that on the Fire Stick.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe
you gotta be
I
able to
was
get
watching
Tubi
it.
on the Fire Stick.
What? Tubi's in the Fire Stick. Yeah. Now that I think about
Yeah,
it,
there
I
you
was
go.
wrong. Not on the TV.
So you're saying this is a free?
It was a free download app, and all the content is free. There's
Look,
look it up, because there's a lot of cool stuff on there, and they have different categories like that. You can just like kids, cartoons, action movies, horror movies.
Yeah.
It's all free, but there's going to be a lot of bloat in there too. There's going to be a lot of stuff that you've never heard of, because they have to backload it with something to have a ton of content. But I mean, just in the cartoon section, there was the original Transformers cartoons from the 80s. Like I said, G.I. Joe, Cops. Do you remember the Cops cartoon? Not like Bad Boys, but same era of like G.I. Joe and all that stuff.
I don't know that.
No, I don't remember that one.
Yeah, another one you want to pick up is Pluto TV.
I saw that app as well. Is that the same idea?
It's all free. Yep.
Nice. And decent content?
A lot of channels. Hundreds of channels. There's got to be at least one on there that you'd watch.
I would assume. Especially if it was 80s cartoons. That you hooked me in right there.
Available on all favorite devices. Amazon Fire TV is the very first one listed. There you go.
Perfect.
Yeah. I got it up right now.
There's a
Looking
few
at
of
it too. Nice.
So
Yeah,
there's
Tubi.
some
I
options.
know I've heard of Tubi.
Mm-hmm. I had heard of it before in some of the groups I'm on Facebook, where they're referencing saying, yeah, go check it out. Like all this old stuff's on there. And I just, until Christmas night, I didn't really have any urge to do anything. But that's about.
Have you looked at the Tubi web page? Right on the very front page, there's a really cute redhead right on their website.
She is.
Oh, perfect. Look at you're both on the website.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
I mean,
just saying
that
it's
works.
almost like they planned it for you, Paul.
See? Perfect. All right. Let's go to break, and we'll come back and we'll wrap this show up. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
All right.
Okay.
Stick
All
with
right.
us, guys.
The 4th annual Sci-Fi Horror Fest returns in 2021 with an all-new location.
This family-friendly event will have new celebrity guests, new activities and attractions, as well as a diverse selection of vendors, ranging from horror and sci-fi merchandise, artists and authors, tattoo artists, podcasts, as well as unique vendors like breweries and wineries. Sci-Fi Horror Fest will be held on August 27th and 28th at the Vernon Downs Casino and Hotel in Vernon, New York. Guest announcements will begin after the new year. For all up-to-date information, including tickets, vendor space, and sponsorship packages, go to www.sci-fi-horrorfest.com. Please note, dates of event are subject to change due to any lasting issues due to COVID-19. And we're back. And just coming out of that ad for the Sci-Fi Horror Fest coming up in August, I guess they are going to announce their first guest August 16th. They're going to do a live stream. Yes.
I saw that you posted it on Facebook. That's pretty cool. I wonder who. Are they going to do something like every month? Or are they going to kind of do it sporadically?
I'm thinking it's probably going to be sporadic, just whatever she decides on. She's got this down to a pat. She knows what she's doing. She's playing with us is what she's doing.
Right. And you said that she already knows the guests that are going to be there?
They're all locked in already. It's good to go.
She can do whatever she can just do whenever she wants. She could list them all there on the 16th and then be done with it, or she can drop little nuggets throughout the year or whatever.
Yeah. I'll bet you that's what she'll do to keep building anticipation.
Right.
But it sounds like we're going to have a lot of fun at that show.
Excuse me. Do you have any idea? Did she let you know on any of it?
I tried. Nope. She wouldn't give me anything.
Okay.
She basically all I got was shut the fuck up, Paul. No, I'm just kidding.
That was your wife saying that, wasn't it?
Generally, yeah. I get that a lot. All right. So we're going to do an abbreviated Geek Pod book club tonight because Hugh's not here to read comic books with me. So I did finally finish reading the sequel to one of my recommendations from a few weeks back. That was Batman, the White Knight. This is Batman, Curse of the White Knight, the sequel that introduces Azrael into the mythos for this Elseworld title, and it gets crazy fast. It's just as good as the first. A lot of really cool stuff happens. You see twists on some more of the characters, and you see some fucked up shit happen. Stuff that, because this is a DC Black Label book, so they can swear, which they do a lot. There's graphic brutality, really good. And I just discovered after finishing this, thinking I was done, there was a few one-off books that I have to read now that highlights some of the other characters in it. Like Harley Quinn is a huge player in these two limited series, and we get a one-off of hers too to see what happens after the end of this, because the way they end it, very different. And again, this is an old book. This was out 3 or 4 years ago. I'm really just slow on the uptake on these. And so I'm just saying it's probably okay to spoil it, but I know, Kevin, you were kind of interested in them, so I don't want to ruin the ending for you. It's an ending you don't really see coming. It was really, really cool. If you guys get a chance, check it out. Go to your local comic shop, find it digitally online, legally. Don't pirate stuff, guys. Come on. Give these guys the money they're due for creating this stuff. But please go check it out. It was really, really cool. And tweet us, go on Facebook, let us know what you thought of it if you've read it. Corbs?
What?
I knew that was coming.
So I'm just Hugh usually does the news. So I'm just gonna kind of bring something up. You and I kind of talked about it off camera here. Ray Fisher, the guy who played Cyborg in the Justice League movies, apparently he is not going to be coming back. He's not going to come back in the next Justice League, or he's not going to do anything with the upcoming Flash spin-off movie.
Which they're saying there's a lot of them that are coming back for the Flash movie.
Yeah. But apparently he's not one of them. Apparently, according to Fisher's camp, I don't know if it's actually Fisher himself, but he has basically said that Joss Whedon on-set treatment of the cast was gross, abusive, and unprofessional.
Wow.
And he's not the only one that said it. I was kind of reading this article because it's kind of something that we just, like I said, kind of talked about it. He asked the guy who runs DC right now, who has it. His name is Walter, and forgive me if I pronounce his last name wrong. Hamada, Hamada.
Sounds right. Hamada.
He at the time was not the head of whoever they go through.
Warner Media.
Warner. He was actually part of New Line.
Oh, okay.
He's now the head of Warner Media. And he asked if they would kind of do an investigation into some of the stuff that was going on set. And he's not the only one that's requested at the time. I was reading this article. Apparently Jason Momoa had some issues too.
Really?
Yeah, he kind of backed Fisher. It doesn't say whether or not he's not going to be coming back. I would hope to God he comes back for the Aquaman movie, sequels, and whatever they're going to do, if it's going to be with the Flash movie or whatnot, because no offense, I mean, you can't see anybody else's Aquaman now.
Nope.
Other than Jason Momoa. I mean, he was fantastic in that movie. He was fantastic in Justice League. He was fantastic in the actual Aquaman movie. But that's a pretty big deal that Fisher's not coming back. I mean, Cyborg wasn't real big in the movie. I mean, he had kind of a big part, but he really wasn't. They didn't really get into his character a lot.
Right. Well, we got his origin in that, didn't we? Like we saw him become Cyborg in that.
Yeah, but they didn't tell you. I mean, he was hurt in a car crash, and then his father basically made him into a cyborg. Yeah. But they didn't get into. I mean, obviously, for what I know of his character, he was a big football star. Mm-hmm. In high school, he was recruited to go play college ball. Apparently, from what I remember, big college football.
Gotham University, I believe. Something
like that. So, I mean, obviously, in that instance, I mean, it's probably the biggest school in the area type of thing. Mm-hmm. Was hurt in a car crash and became Cyborg. But they don't get into anything else. They don't get in any of, they just kind of show his father making him. Yeah. But they don't show anything about like all the stuff that he went through. I would have assumed that they would have had a spin-off movie of it, and you would have gotten it all at that point.
Right, which I believe was supposedly going to happen at one point.
Right. So now you have to recast Cyborg. Mm-hmm. Because he said he's not coming back. He's not going to come back for the Flash spinoff, and he's not coming back for the Justice League spinoffs. Yeah. And stuff like that. So that's pretty big. Yeah, that's pretty big. So
especially since he's not a big name actor, like this could have been a big shot for him, and if it soured him that much, that's a problem.
Right. So you don't know. I mean, something could happen, back deal or whatever, and he may end up coming back. Mm-hmm. But from the articles I've read and what I saw on YouTube and all that stuff, not YouTube, but on Google feed, that's where I first saw it, was on Google when I was going in to look stuff up on Google, just messing around or whatever. It was one of the things came right up on the first page was he wasn't coming back, and I was like, oh, I gotta read this. So and like I said, I'm assuming that Hugh would have brought it up. Yeah. But he just decided not to join us tonight.
Yes. He took the week off. He took an extended vacation. I don't know. I'm not at liberty to say.
Okay. And to be honest with you, shit happens.
Right. I can neither confirm nor deny the fact that it may have to do with legal trouble. He may have called for dude, what are you making that face for? Clearly I'm fucking around.
I thought you were fucking.
I had you good. Your face threw me off, though. I couldn't even finish it.
Do I gotta raise bail money for him?
Well, that's where I was gonna go with it and say that he called me for bail money, but I was a little short this week. But your face threw me off.
You waiting for the stimulus? You waiting for your stimulus check to come in?
Got to get my 600.
Oh man, you should have just kept going.
That's
even
funny.
With the face I made.
You threw me off. Going. I couldn't do it.
That's funny.
That's great. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens with Fisher and Warner Media.
I mean, if all else fails, they can just use the guy that plays Cyborg on Doom Patrol because he is a character on that.
So, okay, but he's a cartoon.
No, live action.
Oh.
Doom Patrol's live action. I'm sorry if I wasn't clear on that earlier.
No, I think you were. I just was fucking with you too.
Oh. Or we could use the animated Cyborg from Teen Titans Go. That works too.
There you go. See, that would be cool.
Just the only one that's
actually,
a cartoon in it, and they ignore the fact they're the whole movie.
Isn't it Carrie Payton from The Walking Dead? Doesn't he voice him?
Does he?
I gotta look it up
Yeah,
now.
now he's gonna look it up. Well, while you're looking it up, Kevin, you wanted to discuss something about a video game.
No, yeah, I just wanted to mention that I found this new to me, but it's been around for a long time. Eight, 9 years, maybe even 10 years. It's a Ubisoft Blue Byte cooperative venture. It's called Settlers Online. I don't know if you've heard of it.
You told me about it.
Yeah, it's a builder type game. I mean, you get an island and you've got to populate it. The interesting part about it is that it has an economy aspect to it, where you have to maintain your resource production in order to provide for other things. You want to build an army to go do adventures. You want to get bigger and better islands so that not islands, but resources on your island so you can sell them and make more money. There's a lot of different things you can do, and there's a lot of different aspects to it, a lot of different channels, and you can have simultaneous things going on, and it keeps your mind busy and thinking and working, and there's enough to it that it makes it interesting without being repetitive. A lot of aspects of it are kind of repetitive. You get a lot of these games that there's a grind to them. You have to keep doing the same thing over and over and over again in order to build up, whatever you need to move on to the next level.
Right.
There's a bit of a grind to it. But it really isn't as horrific as some of the games that I've played before. So it keeps me coming back. And the other great thing about it is you don't have to spend a lot of time on it.
That's awesome.
I'll leave it up and running, but I come in and I'll clean up a few things, do a few things, and walk away from it. And the people you're playing with, you get a guild, you join a guild, and these people are from all over the world. One guy's in the Middle East. You got some Canadian folks. There's an Australian. There's all in our guild, and people are on all different times of the day and night. And it's really neat, interesting to talk to these folks and see what's going on in their country. What it's done for me is through this whole thing is it's given me a way to see through a normal person's eyes what is going on in their lives. A little bit. People don't really talk, get into their own lives that much, but they'll tell you what they're seeing and what's going on with them a little bit, and how they see the U.S. right now. That's very interesting. Yeah, and you can't disagree with them. A lot of their observations are very on point. But it's an interesting little thing to keep your mind working when you I don't buy the latest greatest games. I don't have the latest greatest consoles or a computer to run the games. So finding something like this that's actually relatively, I'm not going to call it current, but it's being maintained. It was interesting, and it's keeping my attention. A lot of games don't keep my attention. I just play it for a little while and just drop it off and never go back.
Which is rough when games are $60 a piece, and you play for 5 hours of content, which is like barely scratching the surface, and then you just move on to the next thing, which is what I do constantly. I have a library of games that I've barely gotten into on any of them. So
speaking
I
of
feel you.
Speaking of games, did you get into Assassin's Creed yet?
I don't have it yet. No. That was on my Amazon wish list for Christmas, and no one went for it. So
and by the way, Cyborg Teen Titans Go is Carrie Payton.
Nice. And that's King Ezekiel. Yes.
King Ezekiel. Yep.
That's awesome. I did not
Yeah.
know that was him. He's
Yeah,
the Booyah Man. No
Oh.
kidding.
Yeah.
I think I just got a title there.
Oh yeah, man.
If you didn't notice, a bunch of our titles are really weird shit, and it's always some stupid offhand remark that comes out of an episode.
Yeah, I was actually looking at iTunes. I was looking at your listing.
Yeah, some weird stuff. And a lot of them are usually like I have a really good idea, and then off mic, I'm getting advice saying, no, do not use that as the title. So
Yeah, we're gonna get banned from some of these places. Some of the titles we.
yeah, there's definitely been some stuff that if we would have went with what I wanted to go with, there would be some serious backlash. And again, off mic, I can tell you some of these next time. Remind me, because there's a couple of good ones. One that came out of like I think 2 or 3 episodes ago that it should have been a really great title that I got talked out of. But well, I think that about wraps it up, guys. We got anything else before I deliver my nugget of wisdom?
No.
All right. Then Paul's wisdom nugget for the week. If one door closes and another one opens, your house is haunted. Move the fuck out. Good night, everybody, and megabyte me, bitches.
This has been a GeekPod Network production.